Alright guys, thanks for joining me. As you can see, I'm not on the water today. Uh, Been kind of a rough weekend for a lot of people here in Alabama and across the South, and I felt a little under the weather, so I decided to just take the whole weekend off and maybe go during the week. But I got a couple things I want to touch on before I get into the fishing part of this. And we're here. It is Sunday, March 16th, 2025. This weekend has been a terrible, terrible weekend for a lot of people. Excuse me. Not only here in Alabama, but the whole southern part of the nation, the Midwest, and even up the East Coast. Weather-wise, it has been terrible, terrible. Uh, the death toll from these storms that we've just had, this weather system in a whole, I think I think we've at this filming, I think the last count was 35. So we definitely, anybody connected in the fishing, just anybody watching, I hope none of my fans were involved in this, or got loved ones that have lost homes or life or anything. Our hearts go out to all of you that have been affected by this. I've been affected by tornadoes in the past. I've dealt with several cleanups. Back when we had the big, when was it, 2010, 2011, I forget exactly, one in April. I was a part of a cleanup for the city where I lived in. I ran a front end loader for 7 or 8 days for the city, helping clean up. And when you get involved firsthand like that, you really see people come together. You see how people were affected. You see a lot of the good in people that we normally don't see in our regular day-to-day life. But hopefully these people that have gone through this, I hope they're seeing that now. Our thoughts and our prayers go out to you, especially when you've got some family that have lost family members. There's even I think I just saw there was three in one county that were still missing. Not sure how many more across the nation may have loved ones that are simply still missing at this point. But hearts, thoughts, prayers. It's so hard to put into words, but we're thinking of you, and we hope for a quick recovery and you can get past this. And that's what I wanted to. I hated to start a video that's not upbeat, and I know I've probably already lost some people there, and that's fine. But it's part of life. One more thing that I want to touch on as well, that does have to do with the fishing industry. As of this filming, we in the kayak community have a kayaker missing. I think he's up in the Carolinas. They found his boat. His electronics were still on. So, and I think his life jacket was actually found still strapped to the boat. Now, I don't know that for a fact. That may be hearsay coming off of social media, but guys, if you're in the fishing, if you're part of our fishing world, especially the kayak world, your PFD is so valuable, and you've heard people harp on this over the years. Wear your life jacket, wear your life jacket. Well, when I first started, I didn't wear mine. I didn't like it. It was uncomfortable. But the longer I stayed around other kayakers, I became aware of how many of us actually drowned a year simply because we didn't have it on. And I'm not saying this was a cause. This could have been an extra life jacket that the guy had strapped on his. I'm not placing any blame, but we do have a fellow kayaker missing right now. It looks like he possibly wasn't wearing one. And out of respect for my family, after all the stories I kept seeing and hearing from my other fishermen friends, and the fact that I fished tournaments got me used to wearing one. It's just an everyday piece of equipment that I put on, and I will, if I forget mine at home, I can get all the way to the lake, I'll turn around and go back and get it. I do not want my family to have to worry what happened to me. And that could happen to any of us at any time. Even though on the boater side, we read about guys going missing. They find their boat. Sometimes the boat will be circling, motor still running, no fisherman. Life jacket behind the seat. Wearing a life jacket on the boater side, I know boaters pull it off when they get to where they're fishing. Some of them never put it on while they're actually running to the next spot. Tournaments, it's a thing. Pleasure fishing or just fun fishing, a lot of them won't put it on. It's so easy to hit a submerged log or a dock that's broke free. It's not worth dying over. It's not worth your family wondering for a week or two what happened to you if something does unforeseen happen. That's all I've got about that. Guys, if you're a kayaker, please wear it. If you were to have a medical emergency out in your boat, you could fall out, whether you had bad weather or not. But just, I encourage everybody to wear it. I started out not liking mine, and now I put it on just like I put my shoes on every day. I don't think about it anymore. It's just became a normal thing. Anyway, that's all for that. That's all I had on my mind. Alright guys, I'm going to be practicing for an upcoming tournament. Yeah, after all this weather that we've had, I've only got a few days. This is going to make this practice a little complicated because we're just a little under a week out. But I know from all the rain last night, we're about to have muddy water come down the lake. So I'm assuming it's going to get muddy, but I'm also assuming that it's not going to be completely cleared up in a week. That's the best thing I can go on right now. It's going to be fairly stable weather through the whole week. It's going to be warm. I think these bass are pushing up, getting shallow. But anyway, I'm going to go over the baits real quick that I'm going to be using. If you're out fishing in these same conditions, this might help you put a bass or two in the boat. One of my favorite muddy water, dingy water, dirty water, whatever you want to call it, is going to be a spinnerbait with the double Colorado blades. Not only if you get in some cleaner water, you're still going to get some flash, but you're also going to get the thump and the vibration that this style of blade gives off. Those fish can key in and find that, and they will break your arm at times in that dirty water. With that blade right there, that spinnerbait, that's a War Eagle. I'm gonna lay these down, get them out of the way one at a time. My little home studio here, the back wall's not tall enough for my rods. Alright. Next one I'm picking up, and these are coming random, I've not got them in any order. I've got an 8-inch, basically a trick worm, but it's Texas rig. This is one of the cream, you can see it's one of the cream dotted worms. And this bait here, I will be throwing around the edges of grass beds. I'll be throwing it up in the grass beds if I can find some in the grass, working it out off the edges, in the holes in the grass. And I like that yellow color in the spring. I like it in the dirty water, and it just seems to get bites. But that's it. That's an 8-inch dotted scoundrel worm. That will be my choice for the edges of the grass beds. We'll lay that one down. What can I pick up next? Alright. Another favorite of mine, which if you watch my channel, you're going to know, the Drop Shot. And that is a homemade, that is a prototype worm that I have poured myself. I'll alternate that between my prototype worm and a cream 4-inch scoundrel worm. A lot of times I won't have the exact colors, excuse me, I won't have the exact colors in my worm. I go back to the cream scoundrel worm, which is also about a 4-inch worm. They both work super good. This is if we get in a situation and I cannot get bites on these other baits and I have to scale down, I'm going to the Drop Shot, because that is the most scaled down bait I can get. It is super finesse. Now, on the other end of that spectrum, I've got a 10-inch, see if I can get this out of the, this is called a Stubborn Grub. And it's got a hook slot to help. That's a lot of plastic in a worm. Whoops. This is a big worm. I've got it on a jig head, and that's about a 7 or 8/0 hook. I want to make sure this is a bait I'm not going to throw like a regular Texas rig worm that I would throw up in cover and just bear. I'm going to actually swim this in. This is a massive worm. It puts off a lot of, it moves a lot of water, and it's a big bulky bait, and I'm not exactly sure what it would represent. Possibly a brim, possibly a snake. I know the green, you know, it's a green, this one's a green pumpkin. The black seems to do pretty well, but I'm going to utilize this in practice. I can cover a lot of water swimming this back in, just like guys swim the big swim baits. I like to swim the big grub. Normally when I get bit on this, it's going to be a solid fish. I have caught a 1.5-pound bass on one of these before. Most of them, that worm right there is going to catch you a big fish. Alright, lay that one down. And then this last one, we're going back to covering water. It's going to simply be a mid-level crankbait. Again, I've got this tied on the chartreuse blueback. May alternate this with a red, or the red orange like a lot of us use in the spring, but this will be covering water, moving down the bank, moving to a different location, and I want to go a little faster, but I still want to be making casts. I'm pulling out that crankbait to see if I can find areas that are going to have a bigger concentration of fish, and that's pretty much it. That's how I'm going to practice, and I'm gonna look for, right now I'm looking for the area of the lake, and I break the lake down into 3 sections. I just want to find the section that I'm going to go to on tournament day and spend my time, and if I can dial that in a little bit more to make it more productive, I will. But right now, with the weather has been crazy, we've got mud coming. I know there's no way we're going to get 4 or 5 inches of rain and we're not going to have mud. Will it be cleared up by next weekend? No idea. Sometimes our lakes clear out a lot faster than normal. Not sure this is going to be one of them. It's just a lot of It's a lot of rain that poured in on the state. Anyway, that's my practice deal. If I can get out this week, and I'm gonna run my cameras if I actually get out on the water. Sometimes I don't get off work, or things just happen. I don't make it back to the lake before tournament day. If I do, I'm gonna run my cameras, and that'll be a practice video. If not, these are my intentions. If I do get out, or if I don't get out, and if I don't hit the water practicing, I've already got my tournament lures tied on. If you guys got any other suggestions what you would do when you know the water's muddy, put them in the comments. I'll always appreciate it, and I always look at them, and I always try to respond to them. Anyway, I'm going to wind it up. I know I've talked a lot. Didn't really mean to talk that long at the front, but it just seemed like some stuff that needed to be said. You guys stay safe on the water. I'll catch you out there. If you see me out on the water, come by and say hi. May have something to give some of you one of these days when you come by and see me. Come by and talk to me. You guys stay safe. I'll catch you next week. I'm out of here.